call, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. PSR is excited to present to you Last Call, featuring your boy, the pimp slap POD, Mike M.
Pimpin' ain't easy, but it's fun like money. Got bookies on the run, now it's time to get money. Not your typical way to ball. It's last call like some convicts waiting on the next draw. You can feel the tension. Did I mention? Fools better pay attention, cause we getting paid like a pension. T's on the ones and twos, we not the ones that lose. Mike, money's killers might even make the evening news.
And now, let's get to the picks.
We be pumping! Fox Sports Radio, you know we be pumping!
What up? What up? What up? What a be? We be pumping, baby. It's all about last call. It's Tuesday, January 30th. And where did January go? That's what I want to know here. We are working on getting our way through this college basketball season. And now we've got the All-Star break around the corner with the NHL. We're a week away from the Super Bowl. The sports season is flying by, but it's been a lot of fun to come out here and hang out with all you guys. My homies T on the ones and twos. Of course, it's Tuesday. That means Billy Brands comes in and navigates the hardwood with us today. And that always makes it a lot of fun for me. I always get down with the boys, hanging out, looking for them prop sides and totals. And shout out everybody that's out there in the chat here. I see we got a new member out there, TJ Parks. TJ Parks, the newest member here in Pub Sports. We love it, man. You guys know the deal out there. We got 2 levels now. We got that gold membership. And tomorrow, big horse race out there. You guys don't know. Now you know. Wednesdays and Fridays, horse race days out there. They're giving away that $50 on Jimmy the Bag show just for being a gold member. Of course, you get yourself exclusive discounts, membership perks like discounts in the merch store as well. So you want to get out there and get that gold, $9.99 a month. Get gold, baby, and we're going to get that gold here tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're just talking backstage a little bit about this card. You know, we got a 2-spot NHL card. We've got the NHL All-Star break 2 days away. That'll be a lot of fun, but that means that we're trying to find that cash here with a finite number of games to work with. We've got a big college basketball card. Billy Briz and I are going to go back and forth and talk to you guys about a bunch of games here popping off 7 p.m. all the way through the close of business tonight. And then we've got a nice little 5-game NBA card. Prop sides, totals. You guys know what we do here. It's last call. We're using them trends. We're using that cash flow. We're using all them members and comments in the chat to come up with a winning strategy and formula to cash more tickets tonight. So appreciate everybody rocking with us here. You know, we're going to get this thing rolling, but you guys know the deal. First and foremost, we ask you to do 3 things. Smash that thumbs up button out there. Show the support. Help us grow the brand. Get that recognition here. We're trying to crack into the 6 o'clock market, and nobody puts it all better than this Pub Sports Radio crew. I'm tripping over my tongue. The second thing we ask you to do, grab a pen and paper. Lots of great spots being shared here, not just amongst myself, the panel, our guy Billy Brands and T here today, but you guys in the chat, sharper and sharper by the day. It's always a lot of fun to see and hear. Back and forth, you guys using the DM, sharing messages about winning this and winning that. Love putting the notes together with you guys and coming up with them winning plays. And then, of course, last but not least, drop them plays in the chat. Let's talk about them. Let's get you guys highlighted as well. It's not a me thing. It's a we thing here. We are all collectively trying to smash these books and grow these bankrolls. So we all have to do our part. But what a fun part it is to play here. I enjoy getting to scrub the card, dig into the gold, and try to find them nuggets for everybody out there. And shout out again, everybody rocking with us. First and foremost, we got Jonathan Manson says Blues should be okay today. 2-game hockey card. We're going to talk about it. We got a couple spots out there. And there's my guy Futon Betts, over 9.5 points for Andre Drummond at +110. Couple good looks out there from the boys in the chat. Justin coming out with his stacks POD, likes them Hurricanes at +4, our guy Justin. And there's Wine Time Sports, my homie. Wine Time, it's great to see you. Says, what's up, Mikey? My brother, let's go. Wine Time Sports, thanks for coming in. B-Time says, family, let's go. That's right, B-Time. This is a big family. We're all looking to get this cash together, and that's what makes it a lot of fun. Philly Eagle Flyer says, LFG, LFC, GL, all, baby. That's a lot of acronyms in there, but I know what he's saying. Let's go, baby. Kent Davies, Jay Smooth giving us that smooth balls POD. You know they got to be smooth if you're going to do it right, and he's going out there with Tyrese Halliburton under 10.5 assists. He got it earlier today at +114. And of course, we know Halliburton's back tonight for this game. That should be a lot of fun. Torrey Coker, Money Mike, It gets no better than the pimp himself. Hit the like button, please. Tori Coker, so kind, my guy. Appreciate that. And Joseph Thompson back and rocking with us here. Says, hey, Mike M, best bet for our guy, Joseph Thompson, Northern Illinois, Central Michigan, over 144. Tori Coker's on that Kansas first half, -9. Not many do it better than a Kansas spot coming back home after a difficult situation. So love that spot there from our guy, Tori Coker. Kent Davies on my picks earlier. The line moved my way. Oh, baby. You got some CLV, Kent Davies. Shout out to you, my guy. A lot of movement. We were just talking about some of that backstage as it relates to college basketball. And Philly Eagle Flyers has found a $100 free NBA bet on the FanDuel account. Placed it on Brunson over 31.5. That game's going to be an interesting little breakdown. Can't wait to talk about that. Let's Dance says, if Iowa loses, he's going to drink his own urine. Says, let's dance there if Iowa loses tonight. So we'll see. And there's our guy, Ramon Scott. What up, Ramon? Good to see you, homie. Says, Halliburton, hamstring, probable tonight at Boston. Caddy Daddy says, let's have a Tuesday. Let's have a Tuesday here. We've got ourselves a smaller card, bigger opportunity here to get into the weeds and crank on these bookies. Blue Number says, hate it when the lines move my way. Yes and no. I mean, clearly where I hate it is when the Sixers line moves in a more favorable number for me. That's not a good spot for me to be. So yeah, I guess when it's moving my way there, if I get a -7 and it goes to a -8, I'm probably better than if I get a -7 and it drops to a -4. But that's what last call is all about. We want to look for those trends. We want to look for those angles, and we got to learn from our mistakes. And that's the way it goes in this business here. We got to go every day is a new day, but we want to make sure that we kind of take them lessons away. And look, last night was a 3-6 day. Not happy about back-to-backers between Friday and Monday. Disappointed the Nashville Predators do not get the job done for us. Man, they were up. You could just tell it gets to 3. I mean, it was 3-2. You could feel that momentum shifting in that game. And what a time to jump in on a live overtime spot at +155 to try to negate that thing. But they took the L. Difficult spot with a single game card. A lot of us like Nashville. I don't know. I mean, it's a loss. It is what it is at the end of the day, right? Virginia Tech +3.5. Back in that game, back and forth, take the L. Northwestern State takes the L at +20. +20, they lost by 24. So difficult spot. Texas +5. Cash. That was a nice little spot for us out there. 4 points to get the game done, but they were very much alive right to the end of that thing in overtime. And as soon as it went to overtime, I was like, oh no, don't be the dog going to die. But they got through it. They got it done for us at +5. Them Brooklyn Nets first half. Brooklyn, top to bottom, wire to wire, got that job done out there. Be interesting to see what Utah does tonight with that Knicks spot. And then we got that Houston spot as well. The Houston Rockets +1, short number at home, big red flag out there. We took advantage of it. The Suns over 230 did not hit for us. And then the Wemby, 10+ rebounds, and the Spurs to get the job done, just over even money. You know, Wemby got the job done, but the Spurs blew it at the end. I couldn't believe it. And then last but not least, the Sixers taking that big L. -8.5, dropped all the way down to, was it 4? Was it 4 right by the time, I was going to say the puck drop. By the time tip-off hit, it might have been. It was pretty close. Bad sign, big red flag out there. But, we knew that was a Joel Embiid factor. Maxey issues here potentially lingering tonight as well. It'll be interesting to talk about that game as we get to the NBA. But look, we're still at 37 units show-wise. We're going to get them back here, and we're going to start tonight getting this thing rolling. Shout out to, again, everybody dropping in here. If you guys are just getting out of work, you're driving home, you're getting home, you're looking for a cocktail, you're figuring out what you're going to make for dinner, hit that like button first for us. We're going to take you guys through this sports card and show you how we're getting paid tonight. Caddy Daddy says Miami, Ohio, Kent State over 144.5 for me, to me. Go get it, Caddy Daddy. Jacqueline, what's up, Jacqueline? She says, hello, Mike. Hello, Jacqueline. It's good to see you. Ian Shaber says, what up, you dirty dogs? Ian Shaber, my guy. Good to see you back here, Ian. Let's rock tonight. Let's get this cash, my guy. Billy Eagle Flyer says, Preds. Yeah, the skull there, if you will, but cash the draw. So there you go. Jay Peasy. Ass file. What a joke. Yeah. Ass Bill. Yeah, thank you. Wine Time Sports. I'm all over the Jazz +5 in this, already down to +3.5 for our guy, Wine Time Sports. A lot of synchronization there with my guy Wine Time and I there. So Bo Jackson in the house there says, salute, fellas. Another great night last night. Go get him, Bo. Good on you, my guy. Guys, make sure you drop them plays in the chat. Let's talk about them. Let's get you guys highlighted out there as well. And let's get this cash. Patrick Cooper says, what up, beast? Let's go. Patrick Cooper, it's good to see you back, my guy. And Caddy Daddy says, I was rooting for you for that +20 Had the over in that game. Disappointing spot. But, we might have to put a sunset here. We talk about learning from the losses. We might have to sunset that posse at team spot because now that they're getting deeper into conference play, those are coming up with big L's, and I do not like to take big L's. I don't like taking small L's. I don't even like talking about L's. So we're going to have to put a little sunset to that spot there with the posse of plays. But Philly Eagle Flyer says he's on the Blues first period. Both teams to score. First period full game draws. Blues team total over. Like 3-3 on the Kraken puck line, leaning the under. And Neil Coleman in the house says, I like Tennessee today. That game's about to pop off here shortly. Blue numbers like the Jazz too. Another line going his way. He's got himself CLV all day today. Our guy, Blue numbers. RVD 420. Told you yesterday on the Predators game, draw. Cash at RVD 420. Good for you, my guy. Good for you. And then Ian says, I'm still in the woods. Gambling rehab. No action here, but always love hanging with the gang. That's a guy right there. That's a true homie. Dropping in. He just wants to hang out. I love hearing that, my guy, and appreciate you doing what you can do. Getting that internet reception through the woods and spending your time hanging out with us is always a lot of fun. We got a card to jump into tonight. We want to get you guys out of here early, get into this thing so that you can get them bets placed. You got a lot of spots happening tonight. The NBA doesn't pop off till 7:30, so we are going to dig deeper into the college basketball card here. Again, got a pretty full clip lined up with my guy, Billy Briz, and I giving you guys some of these college basketball looks, but before we jump in here, you know how we start the show off. We're going to lace them skates up. We're going to take it to the frozen pond, puck and stick, ready to roll here. It's time to get this hockey plays in action tonight. Excuse me. And I mentioned it's a 2-game card, so not a ton to work with here. The first game does pop off at 8 o'clock. Oh, man, where did my mouse just die? Just as I need it. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll navigate through it there. Our guy, T. Sporting them new graphics, guys. They look great. He's done a great job with us on that thing. And here we go, giving us the breakdown for this Blue Jackets Blues game. A little bit of movement now towards the Blues in this spot here. This mouse is going to kill me here if I can't get this thing rolling. What the fuck is going on? We'll figure it out. We will indeed figure it out. But Justin McElvey says Blues over 6.5 is the only hockey for him so far. Let's jump into it. I'm going to have to go old school with the old finger on the mouse pad here today, but we will figure that out indeed. First game on the card tonight, we're going to go right to the ice, and we're going to jump in on this Columbus-St. Louis game. We've got Merzlikins in net at 8-10-7. 8-10-7. I don't know if I've seen that many overtime losses in one particular goaltender spot. And then you look on the other side, we got Jordan Binnington, 17-12-2. And we're going to take a little creative approach to this thing. First of all, important to know, not all is right out there in Columbus. Our guy, Merzlikins, of course, there was a tragedy 2 summers ago, 4th of July. His line mate, one of his best friends, freak firework accident, sitting in the hot tub, did not go the way anybody wanted it to go. And now he wants to get his ass out of Columbus. He has publicly asked for a trade. They still have not traded him, though. They can't find the right trading partner. And he's just kind of getting dragged through the dirt right now. He's a 3.34 goals against average with a 90.1 save percentage. Binnington on the other side, 2.97, 90.7. St. Louis has been playing pretty well since this coaching change out there. And I don't see any reason why it doesn't continue tonight. Columbus has lost 7 of their last 9 games. Binnington, 3 in a row starts now for this guy. He's 6-1-1 in his last 8 games out there, rocking a 92.7% save percentage this month and a shutout under his belt. Couple thoughts here. First of all, this is Merzlikins' second start in 3 games. I mentioned that prior. Road dogs with 1 or less power play goals, a malfunctioning power play, are 125 and 235 in the last year when it comes to the NHL. So not a great spot out there when you've got a malfunctioning power play, a goalie that doesn't want to be there. He's getting lit up, and then we've also got the hit factor there. We track some of these teams when they play a physical game. Ergo, this Columbus Blue Jackets team, 15 or more hits their last game, and they're playing against a home favorite. Those teams end up 197 and 109. So right now, I see this line has dropped a little bit now to a minus 148, just for benchmark purposes of where this line's going to go. But I'll tell you how I approach this game. I love this St. Louis spot. I think it's a good opportunity. I don't want to mess with the -1, and I'll tell you exactly why -1 concerns me. If you look back at this thing, St. Louis, 4 games now with a 4-3 final. 5-game win streak for St. Louis, clearly finding a way to get some things done out there, but just a sketchy little spot to see this number drop. And I'll tell you, not a bad spot to be if you're thinking overtime and you're thinking about a 4-3 projected final. There's some big payouts, 25 and 30 to 1s on those things. But I went down to Periaco over 1.5 shots on goal, St. Louis Blues to get the game done. And it was plus 145. I'm sure the number's a little better now, but because this mouse is shat the bed. Oh, wait, no, there we go. We're back in play. That doesn't matter. We'll still stick with that 145. Bottom line in this spot here, as I was looking at this game, Justin Folk being out for the St. Louis Blues has yielded more ice time for Periaco, and he has been capitalizing on it. First and foremost, the Blue Jackets allow almost the most. They're the 4th highest team in the NHL allowing shots on goal. This is why Merzlikins wants to get out of there. There's nobody throwing bodies in front of those pucks. He's just got to take them all. And what's happening is they're allowing 33.96 shots on goal a game this season. And then you look back at this Colton Periaco. I know another guy named Colton. Colton Periaco, blue liner, considered himself on the up and up now with this Justin Folk spot. He's averaging 2 shots on goal a game this season. When you look at this 1.5, he's hit that number 60% of the time this month and 7 of the last 10 games specifically. I put the two together. I thought his minutes have gone up since Folk's been out of there and been injured. Blue Jackets letting up a ton of goals. And I love a spot where you get these defensive men taking a lot of shots on goal. You kind of think about the way that the NHL works in terms of offense. It's a giant funnel. You kind of clog the middle up. You force the pucks to the outside, back to your point. They take a shot, and hopefully you can screen it and get that junk in there and play a competitive game. And I think St. Louis has done a great job of that thus far. Give me the Periaco over 1.5 shots on goal and the St. Louis Blues little same game parlay, and be alert. Put yourselves on notice. There is a boost out there on them books, so you want to take advantage of that and capitalize where you can in these spots out there. Kent Davies, Pimp Stuff, says, I have one free money play tonight. Marchenko over 2.5 shots on goal at plus 114. It's now available at that price, but it's going to cash. Good job, my guy. Let's go. Let's get that stuff going here. Let's keep it rolling. Gamblestein in the house. Good to see you, Gamblestein. True Teller's there. True Teller, we got him on Sunday, baby. We got him with them Kansas City Chiefs, my guy. Dana Delp says, hey, some info for you guys. Where is dress for the Indiana game? And, of course, I'm there. We got boots on the ground for our guy, Dana Delp. Ian Shaver says, new graphics are sharp, aren't they? Sharp as a tack, baby. Let's go. Time to roll here. Aaron Skirvin in the chat says, cash these slips. And there's Mel. Mel says, Eileen Blues in regulation at plus 105. Haven't bet it yet. Terrible spot for Columbus. 3rd game in 4 nights and end of a bad road trip. Blues really want to go into the break with the win streak. I agree. I think they do want that win streak. Rocco Rogers says 5-2, but man, if you just look at history, it's hard not to take a shot at that 4-3 at monster numbers out there. Rocco Rogers says Rob Thomas over 1.5 points plus 190. St. Louis team total over 3.5. 5-2 correct score sprinkle at 18-1 for our guy Rocco Rogers as well. You guys are rocking, man. Sharon Pulliam in the house says Pimp Slap. Philly Eagle Flyer says nice look. We'll see if it's a nice look. We want to get paid. Fernando Mendoza, salute the family. RVD 420 and the draw for him in this game. Of course, we like them draws out there at big money spots. Morgan Spooner says, what up, Mike? 3 bets tonight, all in college basketball. He's going Marquette. He's going to fade that Villanova spot at home. He's going Indiana. Plus money spots for both of those. And Illinois money line at minus 135. Let's go. Let's keep cashing. Let's keep talking about these games out there. Sharon Pulliam says cash the draw yesterday. Yeah, a lot of you guys knocked that draw out of the park. So congrats on you guys. Good work getting it done. And Wine Time Sports placing a nice size wager on Iowa money line for our guy Wine Time Sports tonight. We'll talk about that Big Ten and what the home court advantage means. But of the 2 games that we have a home court advantage for the dog, I felt that Iowa was the one I wanted to stay away from. I was just a little concerned that Iowa finds a way to get this job done, but that number kind of jumped out at me. We'll talk about it. Kent Davies says, I was going to bet the Sharks until according was announced. I think it's Dackord. Dackord was announced, right? Dackord's in net there. And Wine Time says the Iowa boys have been making us a ton of cash. Kent Davies, Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20, over 3 groupies. I had a point prop for him the other night there. He came through for us. And Mel says, I'm trading lightly in these NHL slates leading up to the All-Star weekend. Yeah, we talked about that the other day, Mel. Going into the All-Star break, and then the first couple games kind of coming out. It takes everybody a little bit of chance to find their legs. Of course, that little mini break for everybody that's not in the All-Star break means maybe it's a quick trip down to Vegas for a couple of days to have some fun and let their hair down, so to speak. But next game we're going to talk about, we're going with this play here. I see some guys and girls in the chat talking through it, and we're going to take advantage of it here. We're going with the Seattle Kraken, San Jose Sharks game. Yeah, we're going to take a shot with this one as well, and I think it's a calculated shot that we're going to take. If you look at this thing, Seattle had been considering Grubauer. Grubauer back from the injury, but they've ultimately opted, it sounds like, not to play him. He was likely when I last looked, but if we're hearing Deckard's in goal, Decord, then that's what we're going to run with. But it doesn't matter to me either way. We've got Blackwood on the San Jose Sharks side of things at 7-17-3. Let me give it just a quick look since we're talking about it here. I do want to make sure if we're talking about this goalie info and it being official, I do see Deckard is likely out there. 15-8-9 with a 2.36 goals against average, 92% saving. Definitely the better of the two. You know, we knew Seattle wanted to run the 1-2 punch to come out of this thing, but I just think this number's gotten just carried away. Obviously when we look at these numbers, Blackwood 3.63 goals against average and an 89.6% save percentage. Difficult spot. Everybody's hammering the Seattle Kraken, and look, this is the first half of that back-to-back for San Jose. It's a revenge spot, though, for San Jose. They just got hammered the last time they played these guys 7-1. And the history between these two teams is kind of what stood out to me. How the hell is Seattle 6-2 over the 8 games these two teams have played head-to-head? I don't know, but I know it's a great spot for favorites on a Tuesday at 32-17. But San Jose Sharks, we started the run with them, boys. We got 3 games. They got 3 wins in a row before they took that loss to the Buffalo Sabres 5-2 the other day. So they've had to kind of stew on that thing there. We got a 3-1 team. And on the other side of things, Seattle's lost 5 of their last 7. Seattle's 27th in scoring in the NHL at 2.84. Not that we're going to go celebrate in San Jose. They're last in scoring in the NHL at 2.08. But Blackwood is on a 2-game win streak as well. So we had goaltender uncertainty. And here's the thing about San Jose and why I think they're kind of in a position to go take advantage here. Rogan Couture's back. This guy sat out the first 45 games of the season with a lower body injury. He's back on the ice, albeit he only has 1 assist. It's huge veteran leadership that won't let these guys give up when they're down. Now, that Sabres game, they clearly gave up, 5-2 situation, but it was a 2-0 lead that they started with. They just couldn't hold the lead out there. And the other guy that's back is Marc-Edouard Vlasic. Certainly an improving player out there. Healthy scratch early in the season, but he's a 36-year-old veteran, and he's logging more minutes now. He's averaging about 20 minutes a night, and he's got 3 goals in his last 8 games. So when you look at this number and you start breaking down the lines, you see this -1.5 for Seattle side. The easy thing to do is to say they're going to smoke them. They're going to get cooked. I'm sorry, the +1.5 spot for San Jose Sharks is -135 to -140, pretty much across all books right now. The books are suggesting they're going to be a tighter game. If there's an empty net goal, that's the only way you're cashing -1.5. But again, the numbers speak for themselves. A 3-1 in their last 4 for the San Jose Sharks. And you're going to give me a +195 spot? I'm going to take that calculated risk here. I think it's a good opportunity. Yeah, Rocco says Hurdle's out. I know he's out, but he's been out. So it's not like it's a news flash in that spot there. Mike says under a half goals, Seattle, period 1. While I'm thinking about it, we talked yesterday and somebody in the chat had asked, why are we in the first period -0.5 at minus whatever that number was? Shouldn't it be plus money? Remember the conversation? That's because they expect that goalie to get spanked and he's going to be out of there after the first period. That's exactly what happened there with, I forgot who it was with the Senators now, but nonetheless, it was a 3-0 first period, if I'm not mistaken, in that game. And they just couldn't hang on to the lead. So goaltender changes. I've said it before, make a mental note with those goaltender changes. This was an important thing I wanted to talk about. The public opinion in a goaltender change is that goalie's going to come in and be cold. That is not the case over the last 2 months in the NHL. These guys that are getting lit up had the goaltender backup come in. They end up locking teams down to 1 goal or less more often than not. So team total options are alive in those spots. Certainly the fading of the teams and the unders are all things that I would consider being in play if you're watching the game and you see that goaltender change at any point in the game, second period, third period, as long as it's not like right off the hop, as long as they didn't change them in like the first 5 minutes. Doesn't happen that often, but Rocco says it just stinks for Seattle. He gets hurt when Couture is back. Now the team is doing anything just stinks for the team for San Jose. Yeah. I mean, it's not the greatest spot to be in, but again, I think you got 2 teams trending in different directions. And as we go to this All-Star break, everybody likes them favorites, and these dogs have been coming through and sneaking wins out there. So I'm going to take that calculated risk here. It's a home game for the Sharks in the Shark Tank. Gamblestein likes the team total over 2.5 at plus money as well. And not mad at any of those spots there. I do think it's a potentially lower scoring game. We've seen some 6s on the line, but I'm going to take this 2-1 money, the plus 195 for the San Jose Sharks. And I'm going to put a bow on the NHL here. Everyone's excited now. We're moving on from the NHL. And why not get excited? We're going to bring my homie on here. He's my Tuesday guest. He's got the extended stay on Tuesdays for Last Call. You know him, you love him. He gives you props, sides, totals, intelligent, in-depth breakdowns. Our guy, Billy Briz, coming back to Last Call. Billy,
What up? I'm doing good, man.
Let's go, dude. It's time for us to make some money tonight, dude. I love the card that you shared with me earlier today. A lot of spots out there to talk through. We're going to get into it as well. You guys know the deal. We'll look at cash flow. We're going to talk a little bit about the money movement. Then we're going to talk about how we're getting paid on these games, and that's going to be the key for everybody out there. Justin says, Brizzy. There you go. You got the Justin in the fan club. Director 97 with the big $5 dono. Our guy, Director 97. Good on you, my guy. Thank you much. Billy, he likes this 7 p.m. Eastern, Akron minus 11 spot. Says 85% of the bets and 93% of the cash on that side. Best of luck, everyone. Let's cash some tickets. Get that gold lever membership, guys. Let's go, our guy, Director 97. I know it's not anything that you and I were planning to cover, but our guy's throwing the dono on it. Let's see if we have any immediate takes on this game, Billy. What do you think?
Yeah, it would be Akron or pass for me.
I couldn't agree more. I think it's Akron. I just think Akron's battle tested. They played a hell of a schedule. You know, when everybody was playing those non-conference spots out there, they were going on the road. Didn't they have that 6-game road trip, if I'm not mistaken? And they were kind of traveling all over the country, them zips out there.
Yeah, they had a tough con. I mean, playing in a MAC, though, I mean, I would say the only red flag I would say is that they're on the road, but I don't think that really matters with the type of class in that division.
Eastern Michigan is just so bad. And we're seeing now that line move. We're seeing this line move from minus 10.5. Now there's some 11s out there. So, yeah, 86% of the bets, 93% of the cash on my current look here. As far as the breakdown, the total, 54% of the bets on the over, 78% of the cash on the over. And it does look like the books are now starting to show a little concern for them. Akron Zips, baby. Director 97 gifted a membership as well, helping us grow this thing. One member at a time. Our guy, Director 97. Brother, we appreciate you, man. Good luck blessing our action tonight and sharing a look with everybody who likes that Akron Zip spot out there. Justin likes the Akron side. Kent Davies took the Akron as a dog last week. Was easy money. And Blue Number says cashed Akron last night. Cashed Akron last night. Did they play last night? Did I miss it? Are they on a back-to-back? Is this the NBA?
You probably meant to put last time.
I gotcha. Against Miami, Ohio, right? They were in an interesting spot out there on the road. But Ohio, certainly they've done well out there as well. Eastern Michigan did beat Buffalo. Buffalo stinks. I know that's a game we're going to talk a little bit about with your breakdown here tonight. So let's jump into this college basketball card here. Let's see what we've got. First game on deck out there. We are, in fact, what a segue. What a transition, my guy, backstage. Doing man's work out there, giving us them looks and handling the segue like a true champion that he is. We got this Buffalo spot, opens at 13.5, 83% of the bets, 92% of the cash on the Ohio side of things. And it went as high as 15. So we are starting to see a little bit of buyback here in the last hour and a half. The back number opens at 147, sitting at 149.5 now, 35% of the bets, 75% of the cash on the over, Billy Briz. I don't know about this thing here. Buffalo 2-17 versus the 10-10 Ohio Bobcats, Billy. I know this is how you wanted to open the card up. Break it down. Let us know how we're getting paid.
Yeah, this is one that I think kind of goes under the radar. I mean, Buffalo is probably the biggest fade team in America. There's a true clash between these two teams. Ohio's coming in with momentum, winning 3 out of their last 4 games. They've only allowed 64.8 points per game in their 4 previous games, and they've won each of their last 16 games when playing with a rest advantage. Ohio has the trio of Hunter, Mitchell, and Clayton. I think they'll have an easy time finding some offense versus this Buffalo defense that ranks dead last in the MAC. And in defensive efficiency, their season has just been a disaster. 333rd in the country in adjusted offensive efficiency, 2-17, and their lone conference win was January 2nd versus Central Michigan. So I think Buffalo has this season under wraps, and I think this is a good spot for Ohio. Seems like a chalkier card than usual. It feels like a Saturday type of card with all these big favorites on the card, but I'm not going to shy away from laying it tonight.
Yeah, I was trying to pull the numbers up real quick here, and I couldn't find them. I'll paraphrase them for you. It's like 25-75 against a team like Buffalo when you're a shitbag team, you're on the road in your conference, and you're a struggling spot as well. So they very much check the box on all of those spots, especially the shitbag team factor. And it's disappointing. I know my brother's wife does a lot of the production work for the sports, the athletics department there. And it was a lot of fun when they had Alabama's coach out there and they were running and gunning and, had conference aspirations. Would they go to the Elite Eight that year? But that is not this team by any stretch of the imagination. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losses in a row. Doesn't matter if they're home or on the road. They don't cover small spreads. They don't cover big spreads. They don't cover shit. It's a bad team out there. I love this Ohio spot. I can get you 13.5 now too. So it's an even better number. One of those spots where it's kind of moving against kind of the expectation with the cash on it. But I bet you that my estimation here is the Sharps are looking at this thing thinking that's a lot of points, but they haven't watched a lot of Buffalo games being that they're in a mid-major MAC school. And I don't think that's a lot of, I even like the first half in this one too, but I didn't officially pull the trigger. I'm with you on this game here though. I think this is a bad spot for Buffalo against this Ohio team.
Yeah, man. I don't know why I've ended up watching too many Buffalo games this year. It's a bad basketball team.
It's because you start getting points and what the MAC seems to be like a coin flip. Like it should be open for business. And instead every time Buffalo rolls into town, they say that they're closed for repairs. So it's a bad spot to be if you're sporting the Buffalo Bulls here. And we are not sporting the Buffalo Bulls, but we are going to roll on to this. Well, we're on the Ohio side of things here at minus 13.5. So let's roll. Kelly V says rematch BC 22 turnovers, Syracuse 7 turnovers, BC money line tonight. The thing about that is BC stinks when it came down to playing at Syracuse. That was a big spot out there. I know Billy and I were kind of talking about that a little backstage pregame there. BC traveling into Syracuse. I don't think they've won a game in the Carrier Dome in the last 5 years, maybe more. But it's an interesting spot now because we saw that, BC's been able to kind of handle some business out there when they're on the road. We'll see what they do when they come back home here with them Syracuse Orange. But onward and upward. Mike says that's why teams without stars is good against the spread. I don't know if you're talking about Buffalo. Buffalo's not good against shit. They don't have any stars, and they're in a bad spot.
Basketball is the best. Big 12 by wide margin.
Love the Big 12. Big teams. They get up for them. The arenas get packed. It's a lot of fun. It's only a few years removed that this is a true story that the SEC had a meeting with their athletic departments and they said to them, listen, what we're doing in basketball is disgusting. I'm paraphrasing, of course, the meeting, but they said it's horrible. It's embarrassing. We're a sports program. We get all these accolades with college football and nobody's trying at basketball. And so they have put an emphasis on kind of managing these guys, probably micromanaging some of the moves that are being made at that SEC level. And now we're starting to see some teams that can kind of pick up the clip there. We know Tennessee gets the job done. We know, we've seen some things with Arkansas. We've seen some things with Auburn out there, minus the last couple of games that they faced. They're starting to get some success. Alabama, of course, taking on, the UB coach. But I'm going to go with you. I'm going to say the Big 12 is the spot that's just basketball I enjoy watching.
Yeah, by a wide margin. Like it's not even close.
Blue Number says the Pac-12. I'll tell you, I like the Pac-12 because they're later starting games. So give me those 10 p.m. starts, and I can have a lot of fun because all the rest of my action's done. Now, this is a little bit older. This is a little dating myself because now that the NHL's added so many West Coast teams, it seems like we're regularly catching 3 or 4 10 p.m. hockey games, which I prefer as well. But I'm Big 12 in the Pac-12. So those are my spots as well. But Mike says 1 year, 8 months, 22 days, 508 and 14. 015 is 855. That's some cryptic shit, dude. I don't know what that means. I want to understand it, but I missed it. So I guess he's breaking down those numbers, how the team covers against the spread when it comes to those numbers. Let's move on. Let's go to this next college basketball game. Again, guys, we got a big college basketball card here. We're going to stretch it out a little bit here. We're going to start getting in here because we've got this time of the season and a lot of the analytics behind us. And this game I'm breaking down here with this Illinois-Ohio State spot, this number opened at -3. 50-50 as far as the public betting perception here. Bet split pretty evenly across the grain. 39% of the cash on Illinois, 61% of the cash on the Ohio State side of things at +3s. Marginal movement, half a point depending on where you're looking. So marginal movement, kind of a little bit of a red flag, but the back number opens at 150.5. That's dropped all the way down to 146, 47%. I love when these games pop off because my screen changes entirely. It goes to 146 now, 47% of the bets, 96% of the cash. Love this thing to go under. And then let's look at the money line because we're seeing this number start to come down. Illinois opens as a minus 152 favorite, dropped down to minus 140. 79% of the bets and 80% of the cash are saying minus 2.5. I don't want to mess with those points. I'll just pay up a little bit of juice and take Illinois. Billy, we know what happens when that's the theory out there. When you're playing not to lose, you're not playing to win. And the fact is the Big Ten home conference, one of the strongest in college basketball. Big Ten home dogs when they're playing a team ranked outside the top 10. When they're ranked outside the top 10 versus an opponent that's less than the top 8, they're 13-4 in those spots out there. Away favorites in the Big Ten off a loss, 0-8. They're losing those games by 12 points, Billy. They're getting smoked on an average line of 4, which is right around this number that we're seeing here. Conference home dogs versus a top 25 opponent on a quicker turnaround, less than 5-day turnaround, 308 and 208 across college basketball, by the way. Conference home dogs, when they're playing a top 25 opponent with less than 5 days of rest, 308 and 208. The home court advantage is what screams to me in that spot here. You know, in Illinois, I think the spot, well, I should say what we're getting when it comes to this Ohio, my mouse is dead again. When we're looking at this Ohio side of things, yeah, they're not a good road team. They're struggling on the road. They're not really that great a home team either, but I think we're buying low in this spot because they're 1-4 in their last 5 games. They played at Northwestern. They got waxed at Northwestern, 83-58 on a 3.5-point spread. They got cooked out there at Nebraska, 83-69. But in all fairness, if you understand the geography of the U.S., those are 2 shit places to travel to. They're not easy to get to. They're longer than expected road trips that you have to take, which means it's long turnaround to get back to wherever it is you're going. And I'm going to discount those 2 spots out there. I think this home court advantage is enough for an Ohio State team. I get it with Illinois. You know, they got their boys back and they're running. They just beat Indiana 70-62, but they were expected huge favorites in that thing at a minus 15. They couldn't get the job done. Then they go out there against Northwestern at Northwestern. Ergo, I told you that's a shit place to travel to. 96-91 beat down there as a 4-point favorite. So tricky little spot there. I'm going to go with the home dog in this spot. I'm going to take the 3, and I'm going to hope for a little bit of an outright victory, Billy. What do you think?
I like Ohio State. I mean, that would be the side I would go with if I were to be able to place a wager on this game. But I just couldn't get to the window with Ohio State. I backed them early on in the season, and I don't know, man. I think this is a spot that they should win, but I don't know, man. I think the +3 is very telling because I feel like this should be a pick 'em.
It seems to me like, based on the number of losses they have here, this number doesn't seem correct. So Morgan Spooner says, as a Buckeyes fan, this is one of the weakest home courts in the Big Ten. It may be, but I still think the Big Ten null and voids that kind of concept out there. I guess we're going to see. Says Morgan Spooner says you can't use their losses as a reason they will win. I don't know that we're using those losses necessarily as a reason they're going to win, but it sounds like we're going to agree to disagree across the board on this one. Kelly D says, correction, over 155 in the NC State spot. Keep an eye. Ohio State, decent first half, poor second half. We know Kelly V nailed that one the other day with us. I forgot the game, Kelly, but I remember you said good first half, bad second half, and then they ended up losing that game outright, if I'm not mistaken. So onward and upward. Blue Number says, yeah, no play for me. Look, I was deciding between the 2. There's 2 of them where we've got the home dog in the Big Ten, and I think that, again, coming off the loss, traveling around the Big Ten, tricky little spot to be. So let's go. Maybe Ohio State is bad, says Blue Numbers. Yeah, they're probably bad. Let's go. What do you think? Are they as bad as Buffalo?
They're bad, but I mean, they can win a game at home. I mean, it's the Big Ten. So
I think the difference is Buffalo can't win a game anywhere in Ohio State.
Yeah, just better. Like Ohio State is fine. Ohio State's fine. I don't hate them. I just love them.
Not my absolute favorite on the card, but I think that we've got an opportunity for these guys to, keep it tight and come down to that last basket, much like we saw with that Texas spot yesterday. So next game on the docket, Morgan Spooner says, LOL, not Buffalo fan. Yeah, that's the new benchmark that I'm going to use out there. Mike says 66-1 is nothing to sneeze at. I want to recognize it, Mike. I don't know. MVP awarded to losing team is 6,600 worth of spin. Is that the NFL you're talking about? Or is that the NBA? I'm not sure. Give us a little more clarity, Mike. I'd love to follow that along with you and see what it looks like. So share with us, my guy. DC Capper likes that. Boston College -4 win. Ohio State +3 win. All right. Well, at least my guy DC Capper's on my side. That makes me feel a little bit better. Mike, I'd love to hear that MVP spot. I'll tell you what, speaking of MVPs, and we'll get to it when we get to the NBA, I did see the Joel Embiid numbers drop in here. 5 games left before he's no longer MVP eligible. He started the week, I want to say, +150. And latest numbers are almost +500 for him to become the MVP. So speaking of those MVPs.
Missed too many games. I think we're thinking about the championship. I think he's going to miss too many games.
He doesn't care about the MVP. He said, screw it. He's not going to. Oh, MVP for NFL. I got you. I see that now. That makes sense. Good. Thank you for clarifying. Kelly D says trend under 149, 30 times at Georgia Tech home versus unranked opponent team under, or is that Georgetown? Under 152 trends for under.
Yeah, it's Georgia Tech.
Georgia. Okay. All right. So we got some unders in play out there as well. Let's roll. Let's talk about this next game. We do have another 7 p.m. Eastern start that's about to pop off here in about 17, 18 minutes. Our guy Billy Briz is going to take us through this George Washington Dayton spot. We opened at 14.5. We're down to some 12.5s out there. 47% of the bets, 83% of the cash, rooting for this George Washington team. And the line has moved 2 points. The back number, no movement. Opened at 146.5, sitting at 146.5. 44% of the bets, 91% of the cash. Billy, we got ourselves a little A10 showdown with 14-6 George Washington, 16-3 Dayton Flyers. And we know Dayton has had a pretty well-received home court advantage in years past. Talk to us about this one. Is it still the same, or do we see this George Washington team mounting up losses 3 in a row now, carry it on to number 4?
Yeah, the theme of today is we're going to have to lay the chalk in some of these spots. Dayton hit the road last week in the A10, and they had their 13-game win streak snapped at Richmond. I remember you were on screen talking about Richmond. And that was a great game that they ended up losing. But George Washington, they've dropped 3 straight, and they're coming into a very hostile environment. Dayton's 9-0 straight up at home. Granted, you're laying number here. George Washington, I think they're just going to have a hard time scoring. Dayton's only allowing 64.1 points per game. That's 23rd in the country. I like Dayton's offense to bounce back from such a dreadful shooting performance at Richmond. It was a very uncharacteristic game for them. I think that they're going to bounce back here, back at home. Last week, coming off of the 2 road games, is always a spot that I like to back the home team.
Got it. So your lean is on that team total over?
I like the team total over 79.5, but I even like the -12.5 even more.
Anything you're going official with, or are you going to just kind of leave that one off the card for now?
We're not going to go official with it, but -12.5.
Gotcha. I love that you referenced that Richmond spot there. Rich what? That was the +3.5. I forgot what day that was, but that was a nice little victory for us there. Smoking mirrors, my guy, smoke in the house.
I think it was on Sunday or Saturday. It was either.
I thought it was Saturday because we talked about that with Dutch and Dabby, if I'm not mistaken, with they're all about the hoop show. Smoke Amir says he's going to go to the Richmond VCU game Saturday afternoon. Let's go Spiders. His wife's a Richmond alum. Let's go. I better say go Spiders. Nice, dude. Nice. I hope you have a great time at that game. A10 games, a lot of fun to go to. I've had my share of Bonaventure games, and I know a couple of the guys in the chat have been there with me. So onward and upward. Another 7 p.m. start here. Getting down to the wire for these 7 p.m. tips. We're going to go to this big one here, Texas Tech, TCU, the old Horned Frogs and the Red Raiders. This thing opened up 55% of the bets, 55% of the cash on TCU. Full disclosure, it opened up at 4s and 4.5s. It shot up to 5s. We even saw a 5.5. We're seeing buyback. So I just want to make that known to everybody. There is buyback now on this Texas Tech side of things, despite the fact that the cash flow is still pretty consistent with where it was earlier today. The under, however, is taking a hit. 55% of the bets on the under, 70% of the cash on this under. It did open at 150. It's down to 145s now. 5-point drop in this thing. But interesting correlation here. Everybody's betting on this money line for Texas Tech, thinking it's a bad spot for Texas Tech. And I'm going to tell you, I think you're wrong in that spot there, you sharp bettors, you big money bettors out there. This game here, if you look back at this thing, Texas Tech, triple overtime spot. And I expect people expect this game to be a gassed leg situation, right? That was a huge Baylor win for them, boys. They were 4-point dogs on the road. They pick up a 105-102 win. Prior to that, they had the Oak State game as well. So you're kind of off that double road trip spot. The Iowa State game at home, though, as a 5-point favorite, almost an identical line index to what's going on with this Texas Tech game. And I just think this comes down to scheduling here. Big 12 conference favorites facing a team they are road dog or small favorites against the last time out are 28-3 in the Big 12 in those spots out there if the game's not on the road. So the fact that they're at a home spot out there in the Big 12 does hold that home court advantage, much like we talked about earlier. And if you look back at it, the Horned Frogs have been playing one hell of a schedule right now. 6 of their 7 games have been against KenPom teams ranked in the top 35 out there. They did have that Houston victory as well. So that was a big road spot a big game for them, a big win. We've seen Houston has been out there just handling teams. And the big advantage for me on this one here is Trey Tennyson. They brought this guy over from Texas A&M Corpus Christi, right? And here he goes. He's a 46.1% three-point shooter. They're one of the stronger teams in the nation out there with the three. They're shooting over 40% from the three. They do a good job of forcing turnovers too. So I think that the general perception here again is this is a team that's going to be gassed and tired, but they're coming home. They've had a couple of days of rest. And I just think they're a more physically dominant team out there. When you look at the other side of it and kind of what's been going on with Texas Tech, I get it. They've been winning games. They played at Oklahoma. They won 85-84 as a dog. Prior to that, they beat BYU 85-78 as a 2.5-point favorite. But it's that Houston game where they got manhandled by almost 23 points out there that jumps off the page to me for Texas Tech. I think this is boys versus men in this spot here. The number's moving. It's a weird line movement for me, but I guess I just got to look back at it and think this isn't like some of those games I was talking about with the Sixers where the line's moving and we got injury factors. I think this is an over miscalculation by the public saying this team's going to come in gassed. And look, Texas Tech knows they got to come out there and they got to stack wins up. They're 16-3. I'm sorry, Texas Tech is 16-3. TCU sitting there at 15-5. It's do or die time, and now's your home court advantage. I think do they open up slow? Maybe. Maybe they see a little bit of that, jet lag, if you will, that regression from a fast start. But this should be plenty of enough number for them to cover. I don't think Texas Tech's defense has shit on these guys anyway. So give me that Texas Christian -4. We're going to take them Horned Frogs. What do you think, Billy?
I bet against Texas Tech over the weekend, and I got burnt pretty bad in that spot. Lost the game by 1 point. So I feel like I just got to get a better read on Texas Tech right now. I thought there was going to be some regression coming for this team, but I mean, the way they played Saturday, I ain't really trying to bet money against them right now. I don't care if they're home, away, neutral site. They're just winning games. I don't know how they're doing it. I don't think they're as good as their 17-3 record, but I mean, eventually that's going to come back to regression and they're going to start dropping some of these road games. And if you told me that the first one was this one against TCU, would not be shocked. TCU has a game against Texas, I think this weekend. And then Texas Tech, they go back at home against Cincinnati. So this could be one of those games where they just drop it. They got a big one over the weekend. They drop this one, then pick up the one against Cincinnati in their next one over the weekend.
I'm glad you mentioned that regression because I was expecting there's some common theme to the college basketball spots that I took here. And in this one, where I thought the regression comes into play is you have a dominant team in TCU from the 3-point line and beyond the arc. And where Texas Tech has been playing well is kind of getting hands in faces and throwing people off their spots. So I thought this was that opportunity for that mismatch again with that soft defense where TCU's coming home. They know their points. They know where they need to shoot from. And I like it. So I'm going to take the -4 now that it's obviously an even better number. Shout out to our guy, Razor Sharp Picks. Good luck to everyone tonight. Let's have a night, Razor Sharp, my guy. Thank you much for coming in and giving us a what's up in the action. Coin likes that Ball State over 149 in his pocket out there. DC Capper, my guy's aligned again with me on this one. And Mike says they're giving out free percolator pots tonight as a prize for playing slots. No prizes for sports. The prize for sports is you get the payday. And otherwise you get a percolator. Good job. I hope you got that percolator, my guy. Go get it. DC Capper likes Indiana +1 as well. Got that early in the morning. Spreads now flipped to a favorite at -1.5. And Ramon Scott, the last 30 Georgia Tech home games against AP top 25s have finished with a score of less than 149 points. Tonight's game hosting UNC, it's set at 151. Looks like the trend points to the under in that game. Smoke Amir says, Brian Watson, we sure hope to cold, golden, frothy beverages. We will be on the card that evening. I got the tickets. Wifey doing the driving. Nice, my guy. Go out there and get it. Maybe a little smoke while you're at it. Smoke and mirrors. Enjoy yourself and have a great night. Mike says, I never played one spin on the slots in my life. Dude, I lost $100 last weekend on the slots. I didn't want to talk about it. I don't even like playing slots. I had to go do it. It was the thing I had to do. And I took $100 bath, Billy, and I was pissed about it because I was like, what the fuck am I playing slots for?
The worst is when you're at the casino and you're playing in the slots and you're with a chick and then you're like, let me go to the bathroom real quick. But in reality, you're really going to the kiosk to go live bet basketball to make the money back. It just turns into a bad case scenario.
Yeah, it's the game of the yo-yo. I'm back and forth trying to make my money back that I keep losing on slots. I know they're all games of chance, but that's an electronic chance. And I think that's a whole different factor than at least if I see the cards out there, I'm deciding if I want to hit on 16, you know?
I feel you, Mike. I don't blame you, man. You're giving me memories, man. I remember I had to go fucking to the ATM and then grind out fucking blackjack for 4 hours, and I was like, "Happy Thanksgiving."
No, thank you. No, thank you. Let's keep rolling, guys. We've got the 7 o'clock card about to pop off here. We're 7 minutes short of 7 p.m. And I think that puts a bow on us for the 7 p.m. window. So good news. We've gotten through the slate, give you guys time to consider those bets and get those plays in there at the last minute, which is what we want to do, right? I know my guy Razor gave me the shout out today. It might've been tongue in cheek, but he said, as his buddy says, no need to rush to the window to get this thing now. And I love to see the information mature or percolate as we're talking about these percolators out there, but onward and upward. The next game we're going to talk about in college hoops out here. We've got this Miami game here. We've got a little Miami and North Carolina State spot, and interesting number here, right? I've seen a lot of guys that I respect back and forth on shows all day today talking about this game here. This line opened at +2.5, now sitting at +4s. 61% of the bets on this Miami side, only 42% of the cash. The back number screaming to the over, opened at 152. Expected points now 155.5. So this is a 9 p.m. Eastern start. We've got 70% of the bets, 97% of the cash on this Miami spot, Billy. I'll tell you, just straight off the hop with this thing as I looked at Miami. First of all, I don't know why they keep undervaluing Miami. They're only laying 3.5 against Pitt. They did get the job done at home. That was a weird number, though. -5.5 on the road against Notre Dame. They kicked the shit out of them. Then they were getting 4 points at the Carrier Dome, and they came out and covered that thing. So we got a team 4-1 in its last 5 games against the spread. And yet here we go with a 4. Some might think it's a tricky number, but short, sweet, and to the point. Miami 23-2 against the spread. This goes back to February of 2021 when they're a dog in the conference right now. You're going to give me 4 points on a team that does nothing but cover spreads in the conference as a dog? I'm all over it. That's as best as I get. If this is a trap, then I'm all in because I see 4s. Now I'm seeing 3.5 starting to come back. So again, we're starting to see some of that buyback out there where they let this number run from 2.5s all the way up to 4s. I think there might have even been some 4.5s earlier today, but on the other side of things, here we go. I get it. They're both competitively balanced teams. NC State at home. You would think they're going to have that home court advantage, but I think this just shows a Miami team that's just kind of being disrespected at +4, Billy. Do you have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah. Is Matthew Cleveland playing? Because that was the reason why I ended up passing on this game. If he doesn't play, I don't really want to put money on Miami. But if he's in, all this, I don't know how they're plus. I don't know. I don't get how they're plus money in this spot. I get it. NC State's at home, but NC State's not a good basketball team. They're a dog shit basketball team up and down. But I just need Matthew Cleveland to be in this game. If he's not in this game, I'm not betting on Miami.
I wonder if that's why the numbers are moving back here, that they're expecting him to come back in. And that's why we've seen this kind of half a point movement back the other direction. I mean, I guess you could argue 2.5 is where the number should open up. 4 just feels like it's a little too many. And that now we're starting to see it come back. It does only it's got a smaller sample of the majority of the tickets today at 8,585 tickets, but I'm going to trump it with history. February 2021, these guys only have 2 conference losses out there. And this is an NC State team that, frankly, I'm not overly concerned with here. 13-7. Granted, home team, certainly going to give them a little opportunity. 8-11-1 against the spread, though. And coming off of 3 straight spread losses there at Syracuse, 77-65. We saw Miami comfortably handle that number. 6-point dog against Virginia. They pushed that one, I guess, in all fairness. And then 84-78, a 6-point loss to Virginia Tech as a 4.5-point favorite there. And they were at home in that game. So the home court doesn't scare me when it comes to this NC State team. I'm gonna roll with it. It's an opportunity. Jay Peasy says people remember Miami losing to Louisville, and so do I. I mean, I get it. I get that's a bad spot for them, but they're 13-7 against the spread. They haven't met a number they're really scared of here. Again, they've gone 3. They're 4-5 in their last 5 spread games out there. And just because they're on the road doesn't mean they're really concerned about it. They lose to Syracuse by 3, covered, as I mentioned. They whooped up on Notre Dame. And, Virginia Tech, again, common opponents playing the ladder game of I beat you, you beat me. These guys should go out there and handle these guys at NC State. So I guess it's going to come down to injury factor.
I don't blame you. I feel like this is one of the better plus money spot gambles to take on the college basketball board today. Because, I mean, like, Miami's a way better basketball team than NC State if you're talking like talent for talent in the starting 5.
23-2 against the spread. I'm going to take the number and I'm going to run with it. I'm going to run my ass to the window. I'm going to run it back and I'm going to watch that number again. If it goes beyond 4 to a 5, I'm going to take it again. How about that? Let's go. Onward and upward, our guy T rocking us with the 1s and the 2s, keeping it tight and right, making it look good for everybody here tonight, and putting the spotlight on us here, Billy. Let's talk about this next game we're going to get into here. We got Billy Briz going to ride them Cowboys here. Wyoming Cowboys versus Air Force. Interesting game here. We know that we've got a little 9 p.m. start, plus 3.5 has moved to 4. 55% of the bets, but only 37% of the cash on Wyoming. The number opens at 136. 55% of the bets, but only 27% of the cash on the over. That's moved a 1.5. And interesting enough, though, 72% of the bets on Air Force, again, thinking, screw those points, I'll just drop them in a parlay. Only 39% of the cash, though, feel that way about this Air Force money line. And it's dropping a couple of cents against the original opening number, Billy. Tell us how you want to get paid.
Yeah, I think Wyoming has some momentum coming into this game. They're winning 3 out of their last 4 games, but I think the only reason why this line's at plus money is because their recent road performances just have not been good. They've lost their last 4 road games by a margin of 16, 24, and 17 points. So you would think with that information, this line would be wider for Wyoming to get their first road win of the year, but it's not. Air Force is one of the worst teams in the Mountain West, allowing 78 points in 3 out of their last 4 games. Wyoming's playing really well right now, and despite their road struggles of going 0-7 straight up on the road, I think they're a more talented team than Air Force. Give me Wyoming with the points tonight.
Love it, our guy Billy Briz. Wyoming is one of my favorite teams just because they have a propensity to cover spreads in all sports all the time, all the way back to the Josh Allen days. That's pre-Josh Allen playing for the Buffalo Bills. I was all in on the Cowboys because they just fight. They have a tremendous home court advantage, home field advantage. They go on the road. There's such parity in that conference that you give me that 3.5, you got to take advantage of a team like that. I think they're just a better team. Shout out Jacqueline. Go get it. Get your money tonight. Mike says San Francisco will be -3 by February 11th. Tell you what, guys, do your homework there. Look at Patrick Mahomes. Look at teams in the Super Bowl when they are bigger dogs or lesser favorites, I guess I should say, than the last time they played. Go check those numbers out. You will be eye-opening surprised out there. Wine Time says Iowa's about to tip off. Let's go. We've got a couple more college basketball games. Then we're going to buzz you guys through this NBA slate and get everybody up out of here. San Diego State, Colorado State. I'm going to give this one a whack here. We got this game open at -1, now -2.5, 84% of the bets, 99% of the cash. The back number, 30% of the bets on the over, but 91% of the cash. Think we see scoring. The number, though, the money line is where the money's at for me here. This moved from -125, now -135's out there. 10-cent movement. And this is do or die time. Colorado State does not have an opportunity to fuck around in this spot here. You know, they kind of started out great to start the season. We know what they were doing out there. They took down that Kraken team and, lots of fun with what they did there. But since then, all they've been doing is struggling. We just talked about them Wyoming Cowboys. Colorado State goes out there, has an 11-point lead with a minute to go on Wyoming, and does not come through the way they want it. They lose that game outright 79-76. against those Cowboys that Billy Briz just talked about for us. This comes down to the Mountain West for me. Again, 3-4 in conference play. It is borderline. Hit the panic button for these boys out there, and they can't afford to let this one go by the wayside. Mountain West teams as a home favorite versus a good team. Good teams defined as teams that have more than a 50% win percentage. Mountain West teams as a home favorite against good teams are 29-2 straight up, 25-6 against the spread. And it's the margin of 9 points that jumps out to me. In fact, we're seeing the average score somewhere between 83 and 82 points for, 67 points against. I like this Colorado State spot here. I think, they're a 9-9 team with a 15-5 record overall, but San Diego State 7-11 against the spread. Granted, they did beat Wyoming as well, so that's a little plus in the corner for them. But they're 2-2 in their last 4. And when it comes to getting on the road, they're really not too much of a concern. So I think Colorado State has that home court advantage. We got the Mountain West with the home court advantage. We know favorites get the job done, Billy. I'm rocking down with these boys here. Give me Colorado State Rams to come through in a must-win situation for them to have aspirations at advancing in a positive direction through the conference tournament.
I don't blame you. I would lean Colorado State in this spot. Didn't put any money on it, though. It was just not a spot I felt too comfortable with. San Diego State, man. I mean, they might have the best player in that conference.
I don't disagree with that at all. I think that's a great look, but they just can't find a way to get the number done. And again, that home court with a spot that they needed, I got to take it. Let's talk about taking this last game. Speaking of here, the last game in college basketball. Then we're going to go on transition to the NBA. We're looking at Michigan State out here. We've got an interesting spot for our guy, Billy. This is what happens when you bring a guy on that goes to the mat and digs through them hills looking for gold here. Michigan opens at plus 11.5. Now sitting at 12s and 12.5. Fucking number keeps moving as these games start. Let me go back up to it here. I just lost it. And we have 21% of the bets, but 38% of the cash on this Michigan side of things. And books not showing concern. They're saying, hey, you know what? We like it. We're going to make it even better for you. The bottom number, though, 145, drops to 144s and 143.5 with 56% of the bets and 85% of the cash on the under, Billy. Take it away, my guy. Lay it on us. How we getting paid with this 9 p.m. Eastern start, Michigan State?
Yeah, I like Michigan State here in this spot. I'll be quick. Michigan State, I mean, they're trying to make up for their early season struggles. They've been trending in the right direction, winning 3 out of their last 4 games. Tom Izzo is looking for his 700th win tonight versus the rival. Michigan will be without Doug McDaniel. He serves as a road suspension for academic purposes. Their defense has been struggling in their last 3 games, 88, 99, 88 points. They've gone 1-8 straight up in ATS in their last 9 games. So not only are they losing, they're losing by the number. Without a true point guard on the roster, it kind of makes sense. And this is a true road fade spot for them. It's hard to bet against Big Ten teams at home, given the situation. Michigan State's home performances, 9-1 straight up, 8-2 ATS in their last 10 games at home. We're smashing the Sparties tonight. Izzo, go get that 700th tonight.
Let's go. And so I saw that was a win by 11 plus at minus 140. Or are you looking to just go with the spread?
Win by 11 plus.
Nice, my guy. That's it. That's how you dig through them gold there. Them Hills looking for that gold. Justin says Izzo gets 700 win by murder. They're going to put out a murder charge on this game here tonight, it sounds like. So should be a lot of fun. I expect Michigan State to kick the shit out of Michigan. I think they've had enough. They've heard enough. You talked about the injuries and the factors. What do you think the circumstances look like that you have a road suspension?
For academic purposes, I mean, bro, don't even get me started. I mean, God bless him. I mean, Juwan Howard's going to be out that door by the end of this year. So I don't think it's going to happen.
Academic challenges out there at Michigan. In the student athlete program, they try to give you the breaks and recognize that you have to travel, but you got to be a real 2x4 to go out there and have some challenges making it on the road with your boys. So anyhow,
this is crazy to me, man. I mean, I remember when I was in college, it was like when the classes started going online. I mean, I would imagine if you're a student athlete, all your classes are done online and they pay tutors to do their work for them online. So I just started looking that up.
He's just saying, I don't give a fuck. I'm not doing it.
Like he's probably just not even cited it.
Yeah, literally, like he's not spending, maybe you got to spend an hour on the course there. And he's like, I'm not going to do it. Or somebody gave him the answers and he went in there instead of spending the minimum hours or requirements. You know how sometimes they require you to spend time online as well. and he's just going to the final and clicking all the right answers and saying, I did it. I won. I passed. What do you want? So Ramon Scott says, could Coach Martelli be promoted, or is he kicked to the curb with Howard?
I mean, I'm a Martelli guy. Yeah, I'm a Philly guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm for that. If you kick, I was never, the Juwan Howard sounded like a great move, but he's kind of shown his maturity level as well. And, you keep a guy from within so that you can take some time if they are going to have to go through a rebuild. But I bet you a lot of that answer comes down to what happens with Michigan State and how the rest of the conference starts to unfold. If the gap's too wide here, do you want to have to go find yourself a new football coach and a new college basketball coach? Or do you just kind of bring the guy up from within and focus on getting your football team right first? That might be the ultimate challenge out there, but let's go. Let's talk about this NBA, guys. 130 plus here. We're rocking. We got 2 7:30 games to pop off, so you got plenty of time to get to the association. If you haven't done so yet, smash that like button for us. Billy Brisnett here. First? What's that?
Can we switch it and go Lakers first? If there's a way to do that, because the Lakers starting lineup just came out.
Perfect. Let's transition. That's what our guy T does there. We got this Lakers game opens at 4.5, has moved to 5.5 and 6s, 52% of the bets, 77% of the cash on the Lake Show, and the total's climbing. It's 4 points up, 243.5. We got 63% of the bets, 83% of the cash on the over, and it's moved 4 points to that over now, Billy. Why don't you kick us off? Tell us what you're thinking here.
Yeah, I'll be quick, straight to the point. Austin Reeves is about to smash tonight. 15 plus points, over 16.5 points, however you want to dice it. We're going with the Austin Reeves ladder tonight. He gets an elite matchup tonight versus the Atlanta Hawks. He's going to go under everybody's radar because of the performance that he had last night against the Houston Rockets. But I mean, the Houston Rockets are just a horrible matchup for a guy like Austin Reeves. If you look at the Hawks, they've been struggling defending shooting guards. They are allowing the most points to the shooting guard position and the 5th most 3-pointers to the shooting guard position. And without AD, Reeves' usage rate is going to go up, and his scoring is going to be relied on, especially with the Lakers playing on a second half of a back-to-back. Prior to his last game versus Houston, he was averaging 16 points on 11.8 shot attempts in the last 4 games. So we're going Austin Reeves, 15 plus, minus 155. That number's probably moving after that starting lineup just came out. Jackson Hayes is in the starting lineup at replacing AD tonight. So 15 plus for Austin Reeves, minus 155, 20 plus for Austin Reeves, plus 200. And I think Austin Reeves has a 25 game tonight. That's my projection. So we're going with Austin Reeves, 25 plus points at plus 600. Those numbers are definitely moving, though, with that Lakers starting line.
Woo, we got you. So we got the Reeves 15 plus points at minus 155. You're looking at the ladder opportunity up to 25. That's outstanding. Love that one there. We see, for what it's worth, the Lakers 0-8 against the spread when they're playing against with no rest against a rested opponent. So when they had that rest disadvantage, it does not boast well for them here. I'll tell you guys, I did a 3-leg parlay. This one's kind of kicks it off here. The Atlanta Hawks are the first leg of the parlay for me, and I'll bring up the other two. It's a plus 218 spot. I'm going to go official with that as well.
Parlay Atlanta, man. 5-19 ATS as a home favorite this year. Like, they're just not winning games at all.
Dude, they got old man time out there with the Lakers, and they got a rested Atlanta team. I get it, they're not, but regardless of that, you still have a situation. I'm glad you brought it up because they still have the situation where they've got, guys out there that should be able to ball. Like, they got some guys that are still trying to get traded, right? We see the situation. We got LeBron, 37 minutes last night. D'Angelo Russell plays 41 minutes. Restricted minutes are going to be the name of this game on that Lakers side of things. And then on the other side of things, you got a rested team. I get it. No DeAndre Hunter, but you still got Trae Young, Jalen Johnson, and Clint Capella. Unless there's some lineup news that I haven't heard about, I'm going to take that money.
Hunter's in tonight. He's playing. He's starting.
Perfect. Even better for us. That's my first leg, baby. I'll give it to you guys right now. It's Atlanta, Chicago, and the Golden State Warriors. I'll talk about each of them as we roll, but it's a plus 218 spot. And I'm going to have – there's our guy, Razor Sharp, giving us the do damage spot there. He likes them Utah Jazz, baby. Hashtag do damage. We know our guy banged it down last night. The Minnesota trifecta do damage spot for our guy, Razor Sharp Picks, blessing us with some Utah action tonight. Let's talk about this next game here. So we're looking at I think the next one we'll go to here is the Celtics game. Let me just get recalibrated with this game here. We'll take that little back step there. And now we've seen, by the way, that number has moved even more. It's 6s across the board for the Lakers-Hawks game now. As I just transitioned over, I saw, again, 77% of the cash now on the +6. Might be a ceiling opportunity now where you're catching the Lakers at a better number. But this Pacers game is one of note. We've already heard from our guys in the chat about Halliburton potentially coming back this game. This line opened at +5, now 7.5. 43% of the bets on the Celtics, 83% of the cash. The back number, 242.5, has moved 5 points to 247.5, with 84% of the bets and 89% of the cash saying we're going to see points. Billy, the big question, do we see points? Don't we see points? What do you think about this game?
What I think about this game, I think the best spot to attack here is Boston in the first half. I mean, they're the best first half ATS team at 34-12. Porzingis sat out last night's game. He should be back for this one. He'll have a huge size advantage versus this Pacers front court. If you remember back to when the Pacers beat the Celtics in that NBA in-season tournament game, Porzingis did not play in that game. I think a lot of people forget that in the cap. And that's one of the biggest advantages I think that Boston has in this matchup. Like, who the fuck's guarding Porzingis? Miles Turner might be skinnier than Porzingis, but Halliburton will be back for tonight's game, but he's going to be on a minutes limit. It'll be the first time that we're going to see this newly established Pacers squad, but I think it's going to take a few games to get this chemistry going. Benedict Mathurin is out for this one. TJ McConnell is out for this one. And those are their two biggest contributors in their second unit. Mathurin leads the second unit in points, and McConnell leads the second unit in usage. So without those two guys in the lineup, and Halliburton's already on a minutes limit for tonight's game, I just don't see them getting off to a hot start with a newly established squad. For the Celtics, they lost their last when the Celtics have lost their last previous game head-to-head, Boston's 19-11 ATS under Missoula, 7-3 this season, and they covered the first half in all 4 meetings this season versus the Pacers. So I like this spot here for Boston in the first half. I think they get it done early in this one.
I'm with you on that Boston first half side. That was one of the 2 plays for me in this game, specifically because of that. You bring that star player back, I just expect it to take a little bit of time for everybody to get back in the rhythm of things here. And I think that the overreaction on this number now is because Halliburton's back, everyone's expecting there to be points. I don't disagree that that's going to be the case. But the second play that I went with here is I went to Siakam over 6.5 rebounds. I get it. With Halliburton coming back, though, that affords Siakam the opportunity to play off the ball a little bit more. And I think that means that he's going to be in a situation to get more rebounds. The Celtics allow 51.9 rebounds a game, and third most of forwards in the NBA out there. So if it is a higher scoring game, there should be plenty of misses and opportunity for him to get his hands on that ball as well. And I think that his familiarity when it comes to Boston and playing in the same division out there means that he should be in a good spot to go get the job done. You know, keep in mind, came off a day's rest. He should be out there for plenty of minutes today, 33 or more minutes, the expectation for this guy. He's averaging 6.5 rebounds a game already. He should go over that number, I think, here. Again, switching things up, bringing Halliburton back in there, gives him an opportunity to play a little bit of a different style where we're seeing that he's comfortably covering that number pre-Halliburton coming out of the game, or going back into the game. So I like it. And it was a plus 110 spot. It's not plus 110 any longer, though. It's now moved. Let me just double check what the current number is with this one here. Siakam, it's plus 105. Still a plus 105 spot out there in DK. So not a ton of movement, but movement in the right direction, at least if you're liking that favorite spot thing. So I'm with you on that first half.
Aaron Naismith, 4+ rebounds, over 4.5 rebounds at plus money. He's actually gone over his rebound prop 5 out of his last 6 games. So since the Siakam trade, and he's averaging 6.3 rebounds since the Siakam trade. And with Mathurin out, he's going to play 35. I think he's going to play 35 minutes. He's played 30+ minutes in all 3 of the last games for the Pacers. And I think he's going to be on Jason Tatum specifically as his matchup for tonight. So I don't know. I played it in a player prop parlay because it opened up at 3.5 and it took immediate steam to 4.5 at plus money. But I think the 4.5, I think he gets about 5 or 6. I mean, he's averaging 6 over his last 6 played. I don't mind the Siakam one, but I don't know. One of those 2 guys of Aaron Naismith or Siakam are going to go way over their rebound prop tonight at plus money.
I love that you're seeing the steam coming and that it's moved up that number as well. So Naismith might have to make the little, I might do a little samer on this one here with that first half as well. So we got this game pretty locked down. I like it. I like to see it. I know our guy Nasty Nate would be all over the Celtic trifecta. I don't want to put words in his mouth. I haven't seen him out there yet, but I'm assuming it's a safe bet to say that he's on the Celtics trifecta. Again, I don't want
one other note I wanted to say for this game. If you're doing a same game parlay, I would take a look at Jaylen Brown tonight. This is a really good matchup for him against Indiana. They've allowed one of the highest frequencies in the NBA for mid-range jump shots, and they're surrendering the lowest rate of three-pointers in the NBA. So that's basically Jaylen Brown's whole entire game is him dribble, pull up, jump shots. He's not really a three-point guy, and he's been able to exploit this matchup dating back to last year. He's gone over his points and rebound line against the Pacers in 6 out of 7 of his matchups head-to-head, 45, 35, 39, and 23. So Jaylen Brown smashes against the Pacers. And it kind of, if you kind of look at the box scores, Tatum kind of had the good game last game. He went off. This could be a Jaylen Brown game.
I like it. I like the extra leg in there. We're seeing it's moved now too. They're still at 22.5, but 23.5 and getting juiced as well. So I think very insightful look out of you there to see this Brown spot and cut it while it's hot because it is only getting hotter. We got our guys next play out here, the do damage spot there. Our boy Razor Sharp in the chat, Razor Sharp Picks. Catch him over there doing his thing on the Razor Sharp Picks channel on YouTube. Guy's doing great work over there with what he does. He's got the Jazz here tonight, giving it to us. He's blessing us with this spot that opened up at +6, now down to 3 with 44% of the bets and 60% of the cash on that Jazz side of things. The totals opens at 235, dropped to has dropped to 229.5, despite 73% of the bets and 65% of the cash on the over. We're seeing a little reverse line movement on this total to the underbelly. Do you think that's founded movement, or do you think that's just a little head fake from the books? Can Laurie Markkinen and the boys find a way to get it done?
Man, when I think of this game, I just think of the game. I don't know how this happened to me last night, but because of daily fantasy, I had the Hornets and Knicks as the main game on my television, and I watched damn near about 3/4 of that game. And if this game is anything like the one from last night, holy shit, is there going to be a lot of points put up on this board. Jalen Brunson, it seems like the books are kind of adjusting for Jalen Brunson's spot, despite him attempting 20-plus field goal attempts in each of his last 8 contests, shooting 53.2%. The Jazz allow a league-high 10.28 assists per game to opposing point guards. In their first matchup, he had 8 assists on 16 potential assists, so basically the Knicks were missing jump shots. His usage rating is through the roof in this one, and I feel like the books are accounting for his scoring, but they're not really accounting for his assisting tonight because some of these guys in the offense, my Villanova boys, they're stepping up. Dante DiVincenzo, he's received the biggest inflation on the props behind Brunson. I played at Dante DiVincenzo 15-plus points on Saturday, and tonight it's at 19.5 at -114, and he's been red hot for the Knicks. He's having a career high in scoring for the Knicks this year. He's scoring over double digits, 15 out of his last 16 games. And with the Knicks long injury report, Anunoby's out for this one. He's going to have another opportunity to get it done tonight. Last night, he had a season high usage rating of 29.5%. I have all 3 of these guys in my daily fantasy lineup, so I didn't get to the window with him because, I'm already to the window with him in daily fantasy today. Josh Hart, over 24.5 points and rebounds at -120 at ESPN Bet. He was the main beneficiary of Randall being out last night. He had 12 rebounds, 7 assists versus Charlotte. Anunoby's going to be out for this one. So Hart pulled down 12 out of his 13 rebound chances last night and 7 out of his 11 potential assists. So basically a bunch of shots to Jalen Brunson and Dante DiVincenzo. Over their last 15 games, the Jazz are allowing the 4th most assists to the forward position. And Utah, I think the jury's out on their defense, man, on the road. They allowed 147 points to Brooklyn last night, and now they're going across town to New York. I think there's going to be a lot of points on this board. It's just, can New York outscore them? Hart scored double digits in 3 out of his last 6 games, averaging 9.3 rebounds per game over that span. If you're a DGen, I think his double-double is a little bit sneaky. He missed it by 1 point last night, and at that 7 out of 11 potential assists, I think a sprinkle on the triple-double is even worth it.
I don't know who the hell made the schedule for the Utah Jazz. This has got to be one of the worst schedules coming off of, this kind of holiday break here. This is their 6th straight road game out there, and it hasn't fared well for them. They did find back-to-back wins, Washington and Charlotte, but arguably next to the Pistons, those are 2 of the worst teams in the NBA. So, then we see Brooklyn. And so here's the thing I think about this Brooklyn spot. I was kind of talking back and forth with our boy Razor Sharp this earlier today on this one. They didn't try in that second half. 147, 114. I don't know that I'm going to say they're rested because it is that second half of the back-to-back, but they didn't try. They weren't out there gassing themselves against Brooklyn. They phoned that fucker in from the end of the first quarter. Tell me different, because that game was brutal. Like I was laughing when I saw your tweet come across the timeline yesterday, because you were like, I don't know how this game made my main screen. And I was thinking the same thing. Like, I got one hockey game that's, not what I want to see right now. And then the college basketball slate was marginal at best. And then the NBA was just beatdowns early. And I was like, shit, I guess I'm going to watch this Knicks game. But I think it's a tough spot for him here. I don't like this 6th spot for the travel. But I did run some trends the other day there. When you've lost 5 of your last 6 games, I'm sorry, five of 6 in a span. I know this doesn't qualify because of the 2 spots out there, but it does suggest that this last game before they go home is going to be a spot. But that being said, they go home against Philly 76ers out there, who are still on that Herculean West Coast road trip. So we'll get into that game here in a minute, but it's just seems like a bad schedule. I don't know what you got. Houston, you got the Pelicans, you got Washington, Charlotte, Brooklyn, Knicks. Now you're coming back home. And then when you go home, you got Philly and Milwaukee on deck. I know they got a nice home court advantage, but they're going to need it to do everything they can in that game. So I'm with the Jazz. I got the Jazz. It's now +3. I can explain the line movement because I think it's strictly player related to these injuries now that are taking place. It's not just some suspected steam buying out there. Although our guy Razor could have steamed it up, I still like this Jazz spot here. But I'm just on the full game. I want the full stretch of this one to get it done. We know our boys blessed us with the do damage spot out there as well. That's going to do it for 7:30.
I'd be more interested in the full game than the first half, because watching that game specifically last night, Tom Thibodeau is not fucking around with these player rotations. Isaiah Hartenstein's on a minute limit of 25. So it was Precious starting at power forward. He's going to probably start at power forward again tonight. He didn't sub out until like midway through the second quarter, and everybody else played. And I tell you right now, Jalen Brunson ain't going to finish the first half with 13 points again and have 8 points in the first quarter and just shoot as bad as he did in that second quarter. Last night, Jalen Brunson had an amazing third quarter. I think it was like 18 points in the third quarter. So I would probably stay away from the first half of the Knicks, because the Knicks are historically a good home team to back in the first half.
In the first half, right. I was kind of with you in that regard, thinking that too. I mean, the numbers dropping. Wonder what the first half number looks like, just for conversation purposes. We're only a few minutes to tip off there, but I mean, the things drop now 1.5 pretty much across the clip. You can get a nice -108 first half out there at +1.5, but shit, I would think you're just better off taking a run for this money at +124 on the first half if you're going to go that direction there on the money line. Hope that they go boom or bust in that spot, and then you can pick up the +3 on the back door. Let's talk about the next game.
The last thing I'll say is the only reason why I say first half is because if you think about it, the Jazz are going to go about like 12 guys deep, and the Knicks are going 7 guys deep. Who you see starting is who you're going to probably see play in the second unit tonight. So, I mean, eventually those legs are going to get a little bit tired in the third and fourth quarters.
They don't have more than 7 guys to roll deep in this. Otherwise, the pretzel guy from the stands is coming in to get that ball done for him. Kelly B brings up a good point, though. Knicks are 13-2 to the under. 2 scorers are out for the Knicks, under 230 ? Out there. And then Voodoo Ranger says, OG still faking that elbow injury. 29, they struggled against the depleted Hornets in the first half. Talking about that Knicks team, I suspect, out there. But when
you don't know who the fuck is in the starting lineup, when everybody's sitting in the locker room and your guys are rolling out for the shoot around, I mean, I would expect everybody to come out slow, but now you have that same exact lineup that you went out there that probably just got thrown together in the last like 30 minutes before the game last night. That same exact lineup is going to be starting tonight with the same exact injuries from the night before and the minutes limit. So I don't know. I think they get it going in the first half. I just don't know if those legs are going to be there in the fourth quarter. Knicks are like historically this season like one of the worst fourth quarter ATS like spread teams in the NBA this year. Like they're blowing a lot of fourth quarter leads.
Well, I hope they cover wire to wire for our boy Razor Sharp picks here. We've got 8 p.m. Eastern, the Toronto Raptors, the Chicago Bulls, your Chicago Bulls in this game here. And speak of line movement, this one's got to be some of the most extreme movement I've seen today. It opened at +1.5, now sevens, fucking sevens. 71% of the bets, 84% of the cash on that Bulls side of things. And it's not just early money, it's late money, it's steam money, it's everything you could expect coming in on this Bulls side of things. 223.5 is where the total opened up. Billy, we're seeing it's climbed now 4 points, 83% of the bets, but only 42% of the cash. This is some late movement coming back in on this total, and the Bulls money line's gotten steamed as well. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, this game's got steamed in every which way so direction possible. I mean, last night I was trying to bet on this game and the line was moving as I was putting money into other accounts that I don't even use, but they had just the best line available because they just had stale lines and the line was just yo-yoing around. This is like I don't even know how to explain it. This is like the hottest commodity last night. But I even like the number right now. I got it 5.5 last night. I would take it up to 7. 5.5 and 7 is basically the same exact line. And you would basically need the Bulls to win by 8 points or more. The Raptors seem like they packed it in and they're going into full tank mode. And it's not even based on like the way their box scores have been going. It's based off their roster transactions with the trades that they've been making and then moving up players from the G League. Like Grady Dick got moved up from the G League and he's played 25 minutes in back-to-back games since he's got recalled from last Wednesday. And that's very interesting because the G League's about to have their showcase game prior to like NBA All-Star break where they're trying to put like all the best G League players in the showcase game. Like Matt McClung most famously was in the showcase game last year, got the dunk contest invite from the showcase game. So it's kind of like a statement like, yo, no, we're really packing this in for the year. Like Grady Dick's getting 25 minutes a game now. They've lost 5 in a row. They're going to be without Quickly and Barrett for this one. The Bulls are somewhat going under the radar heading into February. They're 7-3 ATS in their last 10 games. They won all their games that they held teams under 115 points. I don't see the Raptors scoring a lot of points tonight. This total's pretty low. They've beaten the Raptors twice this season. Usually I don't like to go in for a third time, but I really think the Raptors are like tanking. Like they just want the draft pick at this point. They lost twice to them. The Bulls held them to 110, 103 points. The defense mixed in with their home performances. I really like this spot for the Bulls to win. And based on a couple trades they might make next month, the Bulls might be a bet-on team heading into the All-Star break.
It's so interesting to me to see. I love the breakdown. I think that's I don't know what's going on with this Toronto team. They get guys in, they don't want to play. They're still in the middle. I mean, they're not, I don't even think they've begun their rebuild at this point. They've done some nice job getting some trade value and things like that. But you look at the Bulls, they're without Levine, they're without Ball, they're without Craig, they're without Williams. And yet the number's still getting steamed on this Bulls side of things. Like that's how bad Toronto is right now. I don't know if there's an answer for Toronto other than pack up shop. Nobody wants to pay those taxes that are associated with playing in Toronto. You're not going to, I don't know where that team goes, but I can't imagine, that's the thing you hear about these hockey players and stuff when it comes to going to Toronto. And even Canada in general is just the taxes there are so fucking high that nobody wants to go there and give up all that earning. They don't want to give up all that income. And I think it comes down to that. Then you got a bad team coupled with it. I was going to take this Raptor spot and it was sitting at I think it was sitting around 5.5 that I was thinking about Raptors, but as it's gotten steamed up, I can't explain it. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and it's just got to become a stay away game. I'll tell you, the one spot I did like, it's been the go-to for me, is Scotty Barnes under rebounds, and you can get it at +105. The +105 spot, sitting there, someone's got to get the time, though. I mean, what are they going to not play in the second half of the game? So the fact that him still out there means I don't like that spot any. Justin V says past 4:30 and show's still going. Brother, we're getting into this thing. We told you we're going to bust up this hardwood tonight. We gave you guys an in-depth college basketball look. We're down to this last game, though. We're going to look at the Sixers and Warriors game. And we've got this line opened up at 3. Now 4s, flirting back to 3.5s, 40% of the bets, 90% of the cash on the Sixers. And here we go with this back number, 235.5 down to 234. 81% of the bets, 97% of the cash on the over. And Dave Burke says, if taxes are a big reason, New Hampshire should get an NBA team. Shout out to our guy, Dave Burke out there. Love seeing him in the chat there.
Jersey.
I mean, Florida, Texas, there's a lot of spots that you could, Nevada, there's a lot of spots you could get excited about playing that don't have those huge tax rates. And, maybe Florida needs another team out there. I don't know. We're not here to solve that problem today, but we are here to look at this game and tricky spot. I know Billy and I were both kind of the same elk with this one, saying we just need to see more information before we can make a determination. My gut tells me Embiid's got to play because of that MVP champ. He doesn't want to have it taken away by default. I think he wants to say he doesn't care, but I think deep down, I think he does care. He went out there and put up a 71er, but he's got some knee problems, and that's a little bit of a lingering factor for him. It looks like Maxey on the bench for this one as well. Kelly V's confirming Maxey's out of this game. And it's a fucking who's who on the Sixers lineup. Tatum's out, Covington's out, Embiid's questionable, Morris is questionable, Melton's out, Maxey's out.
Batum's out as well. He isn't going to be shooting up for this one. Marcus Morris is questionable. He's having old man problems is what I was reading. And basically, it was like an Achilles. Like that's a legit questionable for a guy of that age. We might be starting out KJ Martin in the power forward position tonight. I wouldn't mind it. Forton's going to be out here shooting shots.
This is the third leg of my 3-leg parlay there. I know we talked about Atlanta. I know you don't like my Atlanta play, but we're both in alignment with the Bulls on that one. I'm fading this Sixers team just because they're in this long road trip on the West. I don't know who's playing. I get it that the Golden State spot, 3.5 is kind of a questionable number to begin with. But what I like about this game without Chris Paul is they should run pace. And if you got a tired and depleted team that's hanging out there on the West Coast, I think that's going to play against them here. So when it comes to the Sixers squad, as much as they're my boys and I want to see them go out there and crank, this 3.5 is a big red flag for me. I got it that we're sitting off of back-to-back home losses for Golden State, but you're about to go on the road. You're about to tune things up and try to go out there and make a push for the second half here. You've got one last home game before you go to Memphis and Atlanta. I think they can put in enough effort to get this win here, Billy. I will say small home favorites with rest are 0-18 against the spread when they're going against non-conference opponents off of no rest. So tricky spot, despite what you would think. It's a low favorite. Should be a question mark, but I think this is low favorite because of the fact that it's a mash unit at best for these Philadelphia 76ers. What do you think?
These two teams play next Wednesday. Make a note of that. They play next Wednesday in Philadelphia. Embiid only has a few more games before he's ineligible for the postseason awards. I think he's going to shoot up tonight after resting up from last night. But with that note of them playing next Wednesday in Philly, he might not play. But say what you want, he's been dominant, though. In his 2 games versus Golden State last year, he averaged 40 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, shooting 52.2% from field goal range. He had a 42% usage rating in those 2 games. Even with Draymond back, they don't even have interior defenders to keep Embiid down low. It's crazy. A 42% usage rating, bro. There's point guards in the NBA. That's higher than Tyrese Halliburton's rate for the Pacers. That's a crazy usage rating. 42% is something that you only see in video games. So he's putting up video games numbers against the Warriors. And I don't think Draymond Green starting center for the Warriors tonight. I don't think he has any shot of slowing down Joel Embiid. The only way he has is slowing down Joel Embiid's by hitting him. And maybe that's the reason why we might rest Embiid tonight. Maybe we're scared our star guy might get tackled out there tonight, and we're about to run this back next Wednesday. Maybe some feelings might get hurt getting the L out there in Golden State. But if you're looking at the Golden State side, a couple props I thought were interesting. Klay Thompson over 3.5 3-pointers at -135 over his last 6 games. He's attempted 15 plus 3-pointers on 3 separate occasions. Majority of the shot attempts are coming from the 3-point line. So it's pretty easy when he's only going to get 8 to 10 shots. A lot of them, more than half of them are going to come from the 3-point line. He's gone over his 3-point prop 4 out of his last 6 games. During January, Klay has made 4.1 3-pointers on 10.1 attempts per game. That's absurd. dude.
Wow.
Like, he's shooting the ball 10 times from the 3-point line. Just off of that alone, he could like luck into 4 3-pointers. Another one that I thought was interesting was his prop trends are very like relative to how he's playing. Catches the ball, he's either going to shoot or he's going to pass. And for the times that he's passing, he's going over his assist prop in 8 out of his last 10 games. Philadelphia allows 15.3 assists per game to guards this season, which is 21st worst in the NBA. And they're without Melton on a second half of the back-to-back. Might be a sneaky Klay Thompson spot.
I like the look. I like what our guy Razor says there. They're better off telling us who is playing instead of who isn't. The list would be smaller. Our guy Justin V says Joel Jackson or Lamar Embiid. Joel Jackson sounds like a pro bowler. Kelly's saying good info on the Philly Golden State next week spot. I think that makes the most sense to me as far as the breakdown is saying that they might just phone this one in for next time when they know they're at home and they don't have to worry about some of this road trip on the West. And Joseph Thompson's adding one more. He's giving us one more best bet to close this show out. Colorado State, Wyoming, 137 for our guy, Joseph Thompson. You guys have hung through it with us there. We're 90 minutes deep, busting it up, going all over the hardwood. Gave you guys a lengthy college basketball card today. Just because we only had 5 games in the NBA doesn't mean we were void of plays today. Lots of cash on the line. Billy, lots of luck to you tonight, my guy. Tell them what you got cooking, where they can find you. What's the next go time for you?
Yeah, you can follow me over on X at getting_bills. UFC's back this weekend. UFC Vegas 85. We got a nice little card in Apex, and I don't know why. I don't really like watching the Apex cards, but those are the ones I usually end up making the most money on. So I'm not complaining. Shit. I'll take it back in the office in Vegas, but that's where you got to stay here on the channel. Hit that like, subscribe. You have a lot of videos that are leading up to that Saturday event, and you can follow me over on Instagram at BillyBrizzDFS. Always doing some free pick videos and some degenerate, funny video clips. I had a nice little one there today.
Well, Billy, it's always a pleasure. T, our guy, rocking and rolling. I know he's a busy man as well. You guys keep him rolling around the clock. Getting into the weekend, he gets himself some UFC action as well. The baby cage is in play this weekend. Shout out to all you guys that stuck with us tonight. Guys, hit that like button on your way out the door. Kelly V, Joseph Thompson, Ramon Scott. That was a funny clip there when I saw Pete Weber winning that thing out there. He looked like he amazed himself when he won that championship. Joseph Thompson changed it up there. He said he's on the Wyoming over, not Colorado State there at 137. Jojo Rabbit in the house. Fat Wally. Stevie G ready to roll. Dave Berkey in the house. DC Capper. All you guys rocking with us tonight. 29, Voodoo Ranger. I said DC Capper's there giving us his plays. AOD. Smoke and Mirrors dropped in. Yo-Yo Mendez. And, of course, Razor Sharp Picks giving us it off. We'll cap it off with his hashtag Do Damage Spot. Good luck to you tonight, Razor. And everybody else in that chat there hanging out with us here at Pub Sports Radio. Hit that like and subscribe every time the channel goes live. You will be notified. Go out there, $9.99, the gold membership level. You're going to want to get that in before tomorrow's show. Jimmy the Bag, Jose Bouquet, going to be out there giving away that $50 spot. And you do not want to miss an opportunity for some free cash. In the meantime, you know what they say, Billy. Stay popping, baby. Let's get that cash.
Fuck yeah.